What's going on, guys? Hey, special treat for you this week. My name's Matt with KyCreekers. If you are new here, we always looking for antique bottles, stamp bricks, Native American artifacts and stuff like that. In the creeks, we've been finding some killer relics here lately. That is an Andrew Lore bottling company bottle right there, and as well as that killer Hotel de Winter. And these come from Cairo, Illinois, guys. So we're going to teach you a little bit of history on Cairo, how it was started, and just some cool little facts and stuff like that. We're going to dive a little bit deeper into the history of this stuff as well. So hope you guys enjoyed the special, and be sure to follow all that good stuff. We love you, and we'll see you. Oh, yeah. Let's go. Dude, this is gonna be awesome. Dude, it's stencil. Oh, let's freaking go, brother. Let's freaking go. Kentucky Creekers out here doing it today, boys. Oh, there's a freaking coffin flask right there. Oh, freaking pristine. Oh, we gotta rinse this off, guys. Look at this. Look at this. So Cairo was named after the Egyptian city because of its location at the confluence of the Ohio and Mississippi rivers, was reminiscent of the Nile Delta, earning it the nickname Little Egypt. The first charter for the city came about in 1818, but without settlement shortly failed after. Then again in 1846, 10,000 acres in Cairo was purchased by the Cairo City Property Trust, and one of the investors was John Neal, who planned to make it the terminus of the projected Illinois Central Railroad, which finally arrived in 1855. As is an important river port for trade and stuff like that, the charter for the city was written again in 1857 for Cairo, and it flourished there afterwards, reaching a population of just over 2,000 by 1860. So that's coming in right in around Civil War time there. So, and then post Civil War, the city still continues to grow and flourish and stuff like that, just for the for its trade values and stuff like that, especially booming in like Chicago and those areas. And then in 1869, the construction of the Custom House and the post office was designed by Alfred Mullet, and it was completed in 1872 and served all the way until 1905. And then, you know, Cairo obviously being the lowest elevation between the two rivers, the flood protection and stuff for the city, it is surrounded by a different series of levees. And then in 1914, a large floodgate was constructed by the Stoop brothers of St. Louis, Missouri, and the floodgate was known as the Big Subway Gate. And basically, when that gate was closed, it would completely seal off Cairo, making Cairo basically its own little island, and so it's completely sealed from the floodwaters and stuff like that. So that's pretty much just some highlights of you know, some of the history on Cairo. Obviously, there was a lot of racial tension and stuff from you know, definitely early on in that city, all the way up until, you know, I don't even know, probably the 1960s, somewhere in there. I don't know the Great Movement and stuff, but I know there was a lot of protesting and stuff going on in Cairo, especially in earlier times. There was, you know, a lot of lynching and stuff like that happening and stuff still. As well as the Illinois Central Railroad was also another, like, that was kind of a big impact on Cairo as well, and its, you know, economic decline over the years and stuff, just for the simple fact, like, it was a big trade port with, you know, boats and stuff like that, and the railroad kind of took away from that. So if you want to learn more history and stuff on Cairo, it is a cool little town, and it is chocked full of history in that aspect. But we're going to dive into some of the history real quick on the bottles and the relics and stuff that we have found. And hopefully we'll continue to find more history. There's a couple of them that we really don't know much about. Maybe one day we'll get to go up to the library in Cairo and just try to pound some stuff out. But just through the interwebs and stuff like that, there's very limited information on some of this stuff. So, but starting out with the Andrew Lore right there, bottling company right there, guys. Good bit of history on that, and we'll definitely all this information I'm about to read. We got to give this. I want to give the site bluewhitepottery.org. This is all information coming from them, so I give them all the credit and stuff. I didn't research any of this myself, but I will read all this off. It's some great information, actually. Andrew Lohr was born near Steinlo, Germany in 1831 and then died in 1910 at Cairo, Illinois. Having sold his dairy herd to purchase a recently closed soda factory from Edward Schroeder, he began the Andrew Lohr Bottling Company in 1861 in the small river town of Cairo, Illinois. Interestingly, June 1860, the business directory shows Mr. Lohr to be an employee of Mr. Schroeder. Both men were only 25 years old at the time of the sale, and both spent the rest of their lives working in the soda business. Mr. Schroeder relocated to East St. Louis and became successful with 2 other soda factories. The successful Andrew Lohr Bottling Company leading soda brand was the White Star Soda Water, and in the late 19th century, the Andrew Lohr Bottling Company was also a regional distributor for Anheuser-Busch products, including Budweiser. And around 1910, the Andrew Lohr Bottling Company became the Coca-Cola Bottling Company on 8th Street. Now, Mr. Lohr utilized the convenient location of Cairo. He's situated on the Ohio and Mississippi rivers to transport products in many directions. During the late Civil War, his supply was shipped to the soldiers fighting for both the North and South causes. Today, the current bottle diggers often find his bottles in cities outside of Cairo, including New Orleans, where he had flourishing retail trade. He gained broad appeal quickly, and his soda was a big hit. So this guy really maximized, again, with that trade port there. That's why Cairo really took off, being, he just sent his sodas basically everywhere, going all the way to New Orleans. So I think that's pretty cool that people are digging his stuff up even in New Orleans. So in the mid to late 1800s, the soda manufacturing was typically a part-time business. Business slowed during winter months, yet the Andrew Lohr Bottling Company remained open year-round. Andrew Lohr hired 2 employees as early as 1870 who were each paid $1,600 a year. That's wild to think. $1,600 a year, bro. Like, could you imagine making $1,600 a year?
Yeah, that'd just be good.
You might as well be living on the streets, brother.
Yeah, exactly. Especially now.
Yeah, exactly. Which, obviously times were different then,
exactly.
But still. He produced 5,000 boxes of soda per year, and that equaled 120,000 individual bottles. Quite a volume in that era. In the 1880s, the business was advertised as having a wide market to supply in Illinois and other surrounding states. The earliest Lohr soda bottles were stoneware and made by Noah Liff. He was a local potter in Mound City, Illinois. And then later, the Andrew Lohr Bottling Company produced their sodas in glass bottles, obviously like the one we had there. Now, I've never found a stoneware one, but that one's definitely going to be on the bucket list now that I know that they're out there. So, but that's just a little bit of Andrew Lohr history right there, guys. It's super. Again, kudos to whoever read the registry and figured out all that information and stuff. Again, I hope we can get to the library at some point and really dive deep in these other relics, because we don't know a whole lot. And if there's anybody that does know, if there's any Cairo people out there, a little bit of experts that know a little bit, I love learning the history on this stuff. So the next bottle we have coming up is a much tougher Cairo bottle. That one's quite common. This is a Cairo Bottling Works Johns and Future, I think is how you would pronounce that. I'm not too sure. But that's about a $75 bottle right there, guys. And the only thing I could find was Charles Future's obituary. So I'll read that to you guys. Again, I'll give credit to the site if you guys want to go look it up for yourself. I don't know John's last name, and I couldn't really find anything on it. So again, if anybody knows, please comment down below, because I would love to learn more history on that. But I'll read that obituary off for you guys real quick. All right here. Okay, so giving the credit to rootsweb.com. This is the obituary out of one of the Cairo newspapers from 1908, the Cairo Evening Citizen. This dates Thursday, January 9th, 1908. And it is talking about Charles Future Sr., one of Cairo's oldest residents, passed away at 12:40 this morning at St. Mary's Infirmary after a period of ill health lasting about 2 months, which ended in an operation as a last resort to prolong his life. The operation was performed by a distinguished Chicago surgeon, Dr. Albert Bulfer, I believe. The ailment being an old incarcerated hernia. While it was believed up to the last that the patient had a chance to recover, his advanced age was against him, and his system was unable to rally as it was hoped it would from the shock of the operation. So Charles Future Sr. was born in Brockbach province of Württemberg, Germany. On May 21st, 1831, he was one of a family of 3 brothers and 2 sisters, and one still survives, Miss Kate Future, who still lives in the old homestead in Germany. Coming to America in 1854, a few years later, he located in Cairo, where he has since resided. In June 1862, he was married to Miss Anne Schwanitz, who survives him with 2 sons, Charles and William Future. The latter has been in California, and on receiving word of the operation, they started at once for home, arriving Wednesday afternoon in time to see his father before death came. He was conscious to the last, and for many years Mr. Future conducted a brewery on 9th Street in the building now occupied by the power plant. So I'm assuming possibly the brewery, this seems like he was in business before he partnered with whoever John was, so I don't know when he got into the soda business or if it was one of his sons, because this is Charles Sr. He also was had 2 sons, Charles and William Future as well. So maybe possibly they're the ones that started the bottling company. I'm not too sure. Again, hopefully we can figure out more about that. But apparently he had a brewery on 9th Street, and it was Cairo's first brewery, and he put up the building. He also built the brick building at 9th and Washington, occupied by the Brewery Saloon. So he acquired considerable property, including the home on 9th Street. In his social life, he was a charter member of the Rough and Ready Fire Company, remaining as an active member until the company disbanded. He was also a charter member of the Cairo Casino until the company, he was one of the quiet, unassuming, solid German citizens, of which the Cairo of the early days had a large number. And after retiring from active business affairs, he allowed his sons to take up the cares of business pursuits while he lived in quiet. Funeral services will be held Saturday afternoon from the family residence, and the remains will be buried at Villa Ridge Cemetery. So that's the obituary on him. Again, we're going to try to continue to dig as deep as we can, but we've been looking for hours, and that's as far as we got, was the obituary of Charles Sr. So still some really cool history, just to find out that he was the first brewery and stuff there. And it's also cool that both of those guys, him and Andrew Lord, they both are German immigrants. So it's just kind of wild that 2 German immigrants ended up, in Cairo, same place, doing the same thing, ended up in the soda business or whatever. So technically they were competitors, but still some cool history there. Again, if you guys know anything about that history, maybe who John was or anything like that, be sure and comment down below, because I would love to know. Last but not least, we have this killer relic that we just found, Hotel de Winter. This is a key tag for a room key. It would have been a brass key, I'm sure, and then I don't know if it would have been a string holding this on, or if it would have been some iron clasp or something. Either way, that obviously rusted away or whatever. This is brass. Found this in the creek, so it would have been really cool if the key would have still been there. But again, very, very little history. I did find a newspaper that talked about a Jack Winter, and he was trying to decide what to name the hotel. He ended up naming it the De Winter. He also apparently ran a Winter's grocery business in Cairo as well. And the earliest I could find anything out on this hotel comes from 1880. And then I couldn't really find much more on it. I think 1882 is the last thing I'd seen anything about it. So again, if you know any kind of history on the hotel as well, let us know in the comments below. But until we can get down to the Cairo Library and try to maybe look at some records and stuff like that, I'm not too sure if we'll be able to find out any other information on those last 2 relics that we've come by. So, hey guys, I really hope you enjoyed this special. If you did, please comment down below. Let us know if you want more videos like this. I'm a history nut. I love finding out the history and stuff on the stuff we find. And so again, if you enjoyed this, I know you guys have been, a lot of people have been commenting, asking for more historical events and stuff like that. So hope you guys enjoy, and as always, we'll catch you on the next one.